Okay, so is everyone ready for the class? For this afternoon, we will have Sir Neb. He will be the one to handle the geometry class. So, ayan. So, hintayin lang natin siya na makaset up din. I think he's already in the room. So, hintayin lang tayo ng konti. And while waiting, shout out nga pala sa mga bago nating kasama. Okay, hello Ishi, I think you are one of the new ones. Okay, shout out kina Trisha, Faith, Abigail. Hello sa inyo, Micaela. Okay, Clarice, hi there.
Yan. Naghintay lang din ako makapasok ng karamihan. Can everyone hear me now?
Okay, so I think Sir Neb is already in. Okay. Sir,
Yes.
pwede ka na mag-proceed.
All right. Sige, Sir Ian, thank you very much. So, class, good afternoon. Today is the subject for geometry. This is my personal favorite subject. Dito sa review, this used to be the only subject I teach dito sa Review Masters. However, nag-divert na ako and mas nagtuturo nito sa classroom sessions natin is, well, meron tayong ibang teachers for geometry. Unfortunately, hindi nila kaya mag-handle ng geometry sa online class. So, ibibigay nyo yung load. So, for this afternoon, sabi nga, let's play a game. Basic arithmetic and geometry. Pagko-combine natin. Very basic. If the number appears on the left corner, it's add that number. If the number appears on the right corner, it's subtract that number. It will not change positions. At the end of the class, tell me the regular polygon with X number of sides. 5 winners will get 50 pesos load or 50 pesos GCash. Okay? Counting starts at X equals 0 at the next slide. So, let's begin. Nasagutan nyo na naman ng geometry exam nyo. If you notice, na-post na namin yung primer. Basic algebra is, I think, ina-upload na ni Sir Ian ngayon. Okay? So, sunod-sunod na lang itong classes natin. Tuloy-tuloy tayo until August. Well, we'll have games once in a while, but in the premium sessions natin, dadagdagan natin yung mga games. And hindi lang basta load ang magiging price natin. Okay? So, let's proceed immediately with question number 1. Plane M is parallel to plane P. Plane R intersects plane M in line X and intersects plane P in line Y. Lines X and Y are what? This is the type of geometry questions you will encounter in the UPCAT. Okay? They will not give you items, they will not give you drawings that are accurate. They will simply give you a drawing and then magulo ang magiging description, magiging image niya talaga. Okay? So plane M is parallel to plane P. Plane R intersects plane M. So kailangan nyo imagine to and kailangan nyo i-visualize. And may mga sumasagot sa inyo, A or D, parallels, Q, intersecting. So lines X and Y are what? You have to really visualize this. So meron ka raw plane M is parallel to plane P. Plane R intersects plane M at line X and intersects plane P at line Y. So kung gato ang magiging drawing niya, if M and P are parallel, and then you have a line here, would lines A and X would they be skew? They would be parallel. So the answer here is letter A. If a plane intersects two parallel planes, then the lines of intersection are parallel. This is a theorem. I know you've encountered geometry sa classes nyo na nagkakaroon ng yung mga tawag dito, proving. We will encounter that, but a lot of the geometry questions in the UPCAT is really about shapes, objects, and theorems. So tama, because of the parallel plane theorem. Okay, next. Number 2. If you look at this image, the sizes are not perfect, but we made it as perfect as possible. Okay? Find the measure of X in the given figure. How do you solve this problem? Kita nyo naman ang aking cursor, di ba? So, you have three lines. Ang image niya mukha siyang three-dimensional, but there's actually a plane. Okay? So, find x. We know that if you have intersecting lines, you are able to get dito sa taas na to na 83. Hindi ko siya masulatan. Yeah. That's something I forgot to put in. So if you put a line here, so vertical angle theorem, vertical angles are congruent. Therefore, the top part is also 83. So if you have 83 and you have 34, ano ang supplement nila? If you add these two, the supplement will be x. So 180 minus 83 minus 34, you got it. The correct answer is letter C. Okay? Marami na nakuha. So this is simple pa to, no? Proceed pa tayo. It gets more difficult in the latter items. Number 3. In the given figure, parallel lines M and N are cut by a transversal P. What is the value of X? Actually, there are two ways to solve this, but since you are given parallel lines, it makes it a bit easier. So first, how do you solve this? Okay, maraming method ng solution. Since this is a parallel line, 47, you have 115 here, you can actually get the value of this line, this angle. Diba? The other method is through triangles. But when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the corresponding angles are congruent. So if you have a parallel line and you have two transversals here, diba? You have you have P and Q. Okay? So congruent ang corresponding angles niya. Then you will get that y plus 47 is equal to 115. Dahil alam ko hindi ko makasulat, nandiyan na talaga yung solution niya. Therefore, y is equal to 68. Now, if you have another transversal, x and y are supplementary. So that's the rule. When two parallel lines are cut by transversal, same side interior angles are supplementary. Therefore, you have x plus y is equal to 180, x plus 68 is equal to 68, is equal to 180, therefore x is equal to 112. Sorry for this typo. Okay? So x is 112, letter B. However, can you solve this without the parallel line N? The line N? Yes. So this is a type of question where you can actually solve the correct answer using two different methods. I was teaching you the principles of parallel lines. Diba? May parallel lines and transversals. So if you have parallel lines, these are the transversal laws. Okay? But you can also solve this because you also have a triangle here. And when you have triangles, you will be able to solve the internal angle here, and you'll still be able to find the correct answer. So the correct answer for letter B, for number 3 is letter B. Okay? So, kaya ako pinakita to. One, this is a question that will help you about lines and parallel lines and transverse. But at the same time, you will also find that in the UPCAT, you don't need to follow the process that is required of you. You can solve for the correct answer even if you use a different method. Okay? May nagdala ng merienda sa akin. Sorry kung naririnig yung umunguya ako. Next, number 4. In the given figure, lines R and S are cut by a transversal. Okay? If M, measure of angle 1, is equal to 4x plus 13, and measure of angle 2 is equal to 7x minus 20, what is the value of x so that the lines R and S are parallel? Tandaan niyo pa yung pita. Hindi naman pita ngayon. Kopya naman ngayon ang kinakain ko. How do you make it parallel? Okay, maganda. May mga sagot na kayo. If you have a transverse line across two lines, to be able to make it parallel, measure of angle 1 should be the supplement of the measure of angle 2. Diba? Therefore, measure of angle 1 must be supplementary. Therefore, 4x plus 13, ano itong 4x plus 13? This is measure of angle 1 plus 7x minus 20, which is the measure of angle 2, is equal to 180. Diba? Kasi transversal to. You have a transverse, for R and S to be parallel, they have to be supplementary. So you simply add them and you get 180. Now that you have 180, you have this formula, the solving for x is actually quite easy. You just add 4 and 7, you get 11x plus minus 7 is equal to 180. So 11x is equal to 187. Therefore, x is equal to, let's proceed. The measure of an interior angle of a regular polygon is 156. How many sides does the polygon have? This, unfortunately, is a type of question in the UPCAT where they are saying this is a very specific type of question. You have to know the formula. If you don't know the formula, it will be a bit quite difficult to guess. However, you can actually the differences of the number of sides won't be as close knit as this one. Okay, the internal angle formula is this one. Okay, the sum of the measure of each interior angle is 180 times n minus 2. How do you remember this formula kung hindi nyo maalala? Simply remember the measure of a triangle and the measure of a square. Okay? Paano nangyayari yon? In a triangle, the total angle is 180 degrees. In a square, it is 360. So pag naalala niyo na yon, 180 times 1, then the other is 180 times 2. So by remembering just the triangle and the square, you'll be able to measure the sum of all interior angles. Okay? So this is a formula that it might be hard to remember, but just think about a triangle and a square. Whatever polygon, you'll be able to compute. As a triangle is 180, square is 360, and the rest follows that formula. Okay? So how do you compute this one? 180n minus 2 over n. Is there a way to solve this? You have to do it manually. And unfortunately, the only method here is the trial and error. So 180 times n minus 2 over n is equal to 156. You can use this formula to get 180n minus 360 is equal to 156n. 24n is equal to 360. You get n is equal to 15. However, nagsabi na ako sa inyo dito, one method that we teach in the 37 tips workshop, it's sometimes easier to plug in the value. 180 minus 15 over 13, 180 times 13 minus 15 is equal to 156. You can get that. Okay? Trial and error method is easier a lot of times in the UPCAT. The answer is choice C, 15. Number 6. In triangle CAR, measure of angle C is equal to 3x plus 5. Measure of angle A is equal to 4x minus 15. And measure of angle R is equal to 2x plus 10. What type of triangle is CAR? Here's the thing, and this is a bit of a bad news for a lot of you. This is the type of question that would appear in the UPCAT for geometry. Okay? Medyo komplikado siya. Combination siya ng algebra and geometry. However, hindi siya masyado magbibigay ng image. In my experience, and if I remember this correctly, my UPCAT math is actually more difficult than my board exam mathematics. Even Sir Ian can say that. Yung mathematics ng board exam nila is easier than our UPCAT mathematics. Ganun lang talaga. So how do you solve this? You always have to remember that the measure of angles C, A, and R in any triangle has to be 180 degrees. Huwag kayo matakot masyado doon. It's just a fact. Okay? So, you need to add in all the numbers, 3x plus 5, 4x minus 15, 2x minus 10, 2x plus 10 is equal to 180. You will get x is equal to 20. But that doesn't end there. You have to get the measures of each one. Therefore, measure of angle C is equal to 65 degrees. Measure of angle A is equal to 65 degrees. And measure of angle R is equal to 50 degrees. Now, if you have a triangle with two angles that are equal, that type of triangle is, you are correct, letter D, which is an isosceles triangle. Okay? So if you have two angles that are the same, they are isosceles. If you have one angle that is 90 degrees, that's a right triangle. Equilateral is all angles are 60 degrees. Scalene means all angles are different. Okay? Answer is choice D, isosceles. Wala pang tanong? Nakikita ko naman yung mga chat nyo. Let's proceed. So balik lang ako dito sa item na to. So if you notice, there wasn't even a drawing of a triangle. Ganito ang mga questions natin sa UPCAT. It's usually a combination of algebra and geometry, not just plainly in geometry. Plus word problems. They will analyze your thinking ability, analytical ability over your knowledge of formulas. Okay? Number 7. In the given figure of triangle QRS, line segment BQ is a median. Which of the following statement is true? So you have a triangle QRS, then BQ is a median. Which of the following statement is true? If you have a median line, there will always be several truths. You just need to do this one by one. Is QB perpendicular to RS? Iniisa-isa natin, but I'm starting with letter D, okay? Is QB perpendicular to RS? Yes, but not always. Okay, letter C. Is RB congruent to BS? RB, BS? Yes, that will always be true. Is QBR congruent to QBS? QBR, nasa may QBR? Measure of angle QBR, QBS, not always true. RQB and SQB, not always true. Now, you are correct. The answer is letter C. Here is my question. In what situation will all states A, B, C, and D be true? Okay? Agree tayo lahat dito. Letter C ang tamang sagot. But, I'm changing the question now. In what situation will A, B, C, and D be true? Yung lahat sila true, sabay-sabay. Anong situation lang po pwede mangyari yon? Yes, that's one situation. There's another one. There's one more. Equilateral. There's one more. There's one more. Equilateral, equilateral. right triangle. Yan ang hinahanap ko. Okay? Equilateral triangles, right triangles, can be isosceles triangles. Okay? So, if the triangle is isosceles, all states A, B, C, and D are true. This is what makes reviews different from an exam, simple exam. In a simple exam, makikita nyo, letter C is correct. Diba? But the purpose of this question is really identifying saan ba nag-i-exist itong mga rules na ito. So number 7, the correct answer is letter C. And it will always be true if all states, all statements will be true if a triangle is isosceles at the minimum. All right? Number 8. In the given figure, RS is is congruent to TS. Which postulate or theorem could be used to prove that triangle QRS is congruent to triangle UTS? Ano pwedeng gawin dito? Alam ko yung mga nag-geometry sa inyo, you took your geometry about a couple of years ago. Some of you are still taking geometry sa STEM. However, ito yung mga nakakainis, di ba, na mga postulate or theorem. LLA, LL, HL, HA. Ano itong mga to? What does LA, LL, HL, and HA mean? Hanapin nyo yung nag-C na correspond. A, letter A. Let's see. Given ka that RS is congruent to TS. So if they are congruent, at meron kang angle na right angle dito pareho, QSR is congruent to UST, vertical angle theorem. Tama. May mga nagsabi sa inyo kanina. Bakit vertical angle theorem? Because you have a vertical angle. QSR is congruent to UST because of the vertical angle theorem. You now have the leg and angle. Tama yung mga statement nyo. L is leg angle, LL is leg. H is hypotenuse angle and hypotenuse leg. Bakit ang tamang angle theorem dito is LA? Because hindi naman binigay sa inyo ang length ng hypotenuse. This is the thing about geometric theorems, geometric proof. Kung ano lang ang binigay sa inyo, even if you know, you look at this, di ba? Ito yung pinaka-inis na inis ako sa geometry when I was in high school. I never understood why you have to prove it. But you have to, because that's the principle. Okay, I never understood. If RS is equal to ST, in my mind, alam kong equal na lahat yan. Pero you have to prove it. Now, the only thing given here is the leg and the angle. Although you know that the hypotenuse is the same and the other leg is also the same, the height is also the same, hindi siya po pwedeng isipin na ganon. Okay? So, for some students, and I understand how some students think on this one, parang, bakit ko pa kailangan i-prove? Alam ko na naman. Yun na yun, di ba? Napakasimple na. And kaya may mga kaklase ako na nadadalian dito, ako hirap na hirap ako dito sa concept na to. But it's simply look at what's given and not what you can imply from it. Okay? So, the answer here is choice A because the only given is RS and then given ka ng right triangle siya, angle. So, line plus angle. Nililito nyo yung mga nag-game, ha? Oh, wag nyo sabihin kung ano. Basta take note kung ano nangyayari. Number 9. Napansin nyo, hindi lahat ng, lahat na slides, meron ako nilagay na number. If triangle BIR is congruent to triangle DFA, which of the following statement is always true? Okay, you have two congruent triangles, but you don't have any diagram. So they are congruent. We know that if they are congruent, all the sides and all the angles are equal. So which of the following statement is always true? BR is congruent to DF. Angle BRI is congruent to DAF. How do you solve this one? Okay, IB is congruent to AF. RIB is congruent to ADF. Here's what you do. You always have to look at the sequence of the letters. And you draw it. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Since BIR and DFA, the following statements are true. Okay, since triangle BIR is congruent to triangle DFA, the following statements are true. First, BR is congruent to DA. BR, DA. BRI is congruent to DAF. BRI is equal to DAF. BI is equal to DF. BIR is congruent to DFA. The technique here is you have to draw it. When you draw it, the sequence has to be the same. IR is congruent to FA. IR, FA. RBI is congruent to ADF. Ito lang yung mga truths dito. So which one among the choices are here? The answer is letter B. Okay? Kaya importante yung statement na always true. If your triangles are equilateral, all of these statements are true. But if your triangles are scalene, which is actually the best example, the only statement that is always true is letter B. That's the correct answer. Next. In the given figure, point A is a point on line segment RD. So meron tayong drawing ngayon. But if you look at the drawing, again, this is not perfectly written. A is a point on RD and OA is drawn. If measure of angle R is equal to 33 degrees, measure of angle D is equal to 71 degrees, and measure of angle ROA is equal to 20 degrees, what is the longest side of ADO? Okay? Tingnan nyo to. How was this written? If you look at this, ito yung mga may konting confusion pa sa ilang estudyante. Anong pagkakaiba ng measure of angle D sa measure of angle ROA? Bakit importante na i-state yung ROA dito? As compared dito, measure of angle D lang. Hindi na siya sinabing ODA. Okay? Here's the reason. If you have an angle na wala naman siyang confusion na siya ang angle D, you can simply write it as measure of angle D. But sometimes, kung gustong i-describe talaga, technically, it can be written as OAR or ODR or ODA. Okay? But here, kaya siya nilagay na measure of angle ROA ay meron 20 degrees, you have to look at the points. So first point is R, second point is O, third point is A. Okay? So sa ROA, ito ngayon yung 20 degrees. Now, given that this is the image, what is the longest side of ADO? ADO. How do you do that? ADO is a triangle. The opposite of the largest angle is always the longest line. Diba? So if this is 71 and this is 33, ang kailangan mo malaman is measure of angle ROD. If you're able to get the measure of ROD, you can now find which one is the longest line, longest side. Okay? The measure of exterior angles of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measure of its remote interior angles. Therefore, measure of angle OD AD, ADO kasi yun, no? ADO. You need to get the measure of AOD and OAD. So measure of angle OAD is measure of angle R plus measure of angle ROA. So meron ka ditong measure of angle R, 33, plus 20, you get 53. Okay? Nakuha nyo to? So measure of nito is 53. Next, measure of angle DOA is 180 minus 53 plus 71. So may 53 ka kasi dito at meron ka 71 dito and you get the angle of 56. Therefore, this is 71 degrees, this is 53 degrees, and this is 56 degrees. Which one is the longest side? The answer here is letter D. The largest angle corresponds to the longest side. Letter D. Do you have questions? Okay pa tayo dito? Number 10, we are slightly on time. Okay, let's proceed. 11. In triangle PQR, PQ is equal to 18, QR is equal to 22, and RP is equal to 23. Okay. Based dun sa natutunan nyo kanina, which of the following inequalities is true about the angles of PQR? Diba? You have triangles P, Q, and R. I-drawing nyo to. PQ is 18, QR is 22, and RP is 23. Therefore, sino ang may pinakamalaking measure? PQ, the angle opposite it is R. QR, the angle opposite it is P. RP, the angle opposite it is Q. Q, therefore, is the largest, followed by P, and the smallest angle is R. So, tingnan natin ngayon sa ano na to. Q is the largest. Wait ka na lang. If two sides are not congruent, then the measure of the angles opposite the sides are not equal. And the larger angle is opposite the larger side. Therefore, RP is greater than QR is greater than PQ. Therefore, measure of angle Q is greater than the measure of angle P is greater than the measure of angle R. Now, alam ko na nakakalito ng konti ito kasi meron kang angle tsaka greater than tsaka less than symbol. The answer for this one is letter A, which most of you got correctly. Ngayon, sinabi ko kanina na medyo nakakatakot ang geometry questions. On the reverse side, may mga ganitong klase ng geometry questions din. So it is a bit on the easier side. Number 12. Okay, number 12. In isosceles trapezoid ABCD, line segment AB is congruent to line segment BC. So meron tayo ngayong equal na sides. If BC is equal to 26, AD is equal to 16, and AB is equal to 13, what is the length of the altitude of the trapezoid? Magulo ito, no? Pero I think maraming makakasagot ito na tama. Paano itong 12? This is simple. You have to draw it. A, B, C, D, where AB is congruent to DC. Okay? After drawing it, dun nyo lang makikita. Dahil sinabi siyang trapezoid, hindi po pwedeng parallel itong AB tsaka DC. The parallel ones are AD tsaka BC. Okay? Now, you now put in the measures. You get 16 and 26. And since congruent yung dalawang sides, you get 13 sa isang side and 13 sa kabila. You can now get the altitude of the trapezoid using, paano to? Using the triangle formula. Kung 16 to taas, 26 to ilalim, therefore, BE is 5. And you'll be able to get the vertical. So 26 over 6 minus 16 over 2, BE is equal to 5. You now have the Pythagorean theorem, AB squared minus BE squared is equal to AE squared. Therefore, AE is equal to 12. Letter C. Marami nakakuha dito. Okay. In the given figure of the parallelogram ABCD, wala na kayo nakikitang numbers, ano? Wala na. Tapos na yung numbers kanina pa. In the given figure, actually, right now, I don't know kung ano na yung count. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the count right now. In the given figure, huwag niyo sasabihin ng count, ha? In the given figure, parallelogram ABCD, diagonals AC and BD intersect at E. So may parallelogram ka, AC tsaka BD. Which of the following statement is not always true? In parallelograms, you have both sides as parallel. Okay? But not all statements is always true. Unless it's a rhombus or a square, hindi siya lagi. Choice A is true only if the parallelogram is also a rectangle. AC is congruent to DB. AC, DB, yes. The rest is always true. Nakuha to? This is what I love about geometry. For me, it's the easiest one. Naiinis lang talaga ako sa proving. Number 14. If triangles ABC and is, ano nga ito sign na to? What is this sign? Kung kanina, if this is the sign for congruent, this sign means what? Same, not same? Similar. Anong pagkakaiba ng similar sa congruent? Similar means they have different measures of sides, but they have the same measures of angles. And similar is often only used in polygons. Okay? So if triangle ABC is similar to triangle RST, it means that the angles are congruent. Diba? But the sides are not congruent. Angle A, which statement is not true? So the sides are proportional, but the angles are the same. So angle A is congruent to angle R. That's true. AB over RS is equal to BC over ST. Is this true? AB over AC is equal to RT over RS. Or letter C. Letter D. Measure of angle C is congruent to measure of angle T. So letter A and letter C is true. Letter A and letter D is true. Okay? So A is congruent to R, B is congruent to S, C is congruent to T. Out na ngayon ng A tsaka D. Others. AB over RS is equal to BC over ST is equal to AC over RT. Therefore, the correct answer for this one, which is not true, is letter C. Okay? Okay, so let's proceed with number 15. Hopefully, hindi na maulit yan. Ay, teka. Were you able to get number 14? Okay? So, if you have similar triangles, congruent lahat ng angles niya, and then the ratio of each side would have to be equal. Dito, ang naging mali sa letter C is that AB and AC, hindi dapat ganon. The ratio of the sides is among ang similar sides nung ABC, AB would be similar to RS, BC would be ST. Hindi pwedeng maging yung ratio ng AB over AC cannot be equal to RT over RS. Okay? Number 15. In the given figure, LQ is parallel to DF. LE is equal to 7 and LD is equal to 10. And finally, EQ is equal to 14. What is the length of QF? Ganda dito, no? LQ is parallel to DF. LE has a measure of 7. LD has a measure of 10. EQ has a measure of 14. What is the length of QF? This is also similar triangles. Triangle LEQ is similar to triangle DEF. Meron ka na ngayong measure ng LQ, meron kang measure ng LD tsaka LE. Meron ka ngayong measure ng EQ, ang hinahanap is QF. If you look at the previous solution, AB over RS, BC over ST, and AC over RT, yun lang din ang gagawin mo dito sa pag-solve. Okay? So, by angle-angle similarity postulate, DAF is similar to LEQ. Therefore, yan na. ED over EL is equal to EF over EQ. You get 17 over 7 is equal to 14 plus QF over 14, and the answer is 10. The answer is 20, letter D. Okay? Yes, Jenica, anong question? Sir, after you discuss number 15, can you run over number 14 ulit? Actually, it's quite the principles na lang ng similarities. I'll go to number 14 para lang i-run natin. Okay? In number 14, it's not as important to find the correct answer here. The important part of number 14 is this. The rules for similar triangles are the following. The angles are congruent, the corresponding angles are congruent, and then the sides, kaya siya may ratio. AB over RS, the ratio of side AB and RS is equal to the ratio of BC over ST is equal to the ratio of AC and RT. Okay? Knowing these principles, ito yung mga similar triangles, is actually, the application is immediately done dito sa pangalawa. Dahil meron kang similar triangles, therefore, the ratio of ED is equal to EL. And ED over EL is equal to EF over EQ. So, yung natutunan mo sa number 14 is the application needed for number 15. So, the sides are proportional, the angles are congruent. Okay? Number 16. Ano kaya ang sum na ngayon? Hindi ko na maalala ko na yung sum. Honestly, I actually forgot kung saan ako naglagay. Nilagay ko lang siya randomly and I added and subtracted. Which set of numbers could not represent the lengths of the sides of a right triangle? Ano ang principle ng isang right triangle? For right triangles, the sum of the squares, the sum of the squares of two sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. Ganun lang kasimple yun. Okay? So which among the four are not the sides of a triangle, of a right triangle? Ano daw sum? So the sum of the square of the largest side is equal to the sum of the squares of the two sides. Pythagorean theorem. Okay? A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Therefore, the answer is letter B. But Okay, but here it is. This is not simply, this is simply Pythagorean theorem, but you also need to remember some common Pythagorean triples na tinatawag nila. And if you see a triangle 3, 4, 5, it's automatic to be a Pythagorean triple or multiples of it. 6, 8, 10 is also a Pythagorean triple. 15, 20, 25 is also a Pythagorean triple. Okay? 8, 15, 17 is also a Pythagorean triple. You have to remember these triangles. The other common Pythagorean triple is 7, 12, 13. Okay? How ba? 8, 15, 17. 5, 12, 13. Sorry, 5, 12, 13. 7, 21, 22. The only triangles you need to remember is 3, 4, 5, 8, 15, 17, and 5, 12, 13. Why are Pythagorean triples important? It makes it easier for you to compute. Again, UPCAT examiners know that you don't have calculators. It's going to be difficult to compute for the hypotenuse if you have to have a square root. Pero dito, makikita nyo naman dito, 2 squared plus 3 squared is equal to 13. Di ba? This can be done, but it also makes it more difficult for you, especially kung may mga exact values kayo. So remember the Pythagorean triples, 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13, and 8, 15, 17. More often than not, if you have right triangles, magiging multiples lang ng tatlong yan. Thank you, Sir Ian. Nagkaroon ako ng miss. The fourth one kasi is 7, 21, 22. Pero bihira na siya gamitin. Okay? Isa sa challenge sa amin nung kami ay 21, 22, sir. Hindi siya 24, 25. Ano siya? Isa sa challenge sa amin nung kami ay not college. This was in high school. Sir Ian, I don't know if you can remember this. Challenge sa ating advanced math is find the formula in computing the Pythagorean triples. So, there is a formula that you can get the Pythagorean triple with each integer. Pero, can you repeat the Pythagorean triples? I'll just write it here.
Oo, meron yan. Naalala ko yung anong yun.
3, 4, 5. Yung challenge na yun, di ba?
Hindi ko maalala yung kung ano yung sagot sa formula. Pero meron yan eh.
8.
Challenge yun.
17. Ang nalito maraming tao doon yung 6, ano yun? 6, 8, 10.
Oo, kasi ano yun eh, multiple ng 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Pero part na siya. At 24, 25 nga siya. Okay. But you just need to remember these three. The three I wrote down. 7, 24, 25 is rarely used. Okay? So thank you for that one. I've forgotten how to solve the formula, but it was the formula that was given to us as a challenge ng aming advanced math. Okay? Now, I would like you to listen to the next few slides. Don't look for the number na mag-appear sa lower right or lower left corner. There won't be any numbers during discussions. For circles, these are the terms that are often asked. You have a secant line, a diameter, a chord, and a point of tangency. Tangent line, then the point of tangency. Diameters, from what I've heard, they did this a few years back already. Hindi na kayo inabutan, but a few years back, I think that was around 2012. Every student 2012 onwards supposedly were not going to be taught diameters. Dapat ang ituturo na lang daw is radius. But unfortunately, yung mga gumagawa ng mga college entrance exams were still taught diameters. So tuturuan pa rin namin kayo ng diameter. Eventually, by the time siguro na mag-college kayo, makagraduate kayo ng college, nagtuturo kami pa rin nila Sir Ian ng geometry, we'd no longer be talking about diameters, hopefully, but for now, we'll teach you diameter. And on diameter, it is the measure of, it's twice the radius, it's measured across the circle, okay? A secant line is a line that cuts through a circle. A chord is it's a line segment of a secant line. A tangent line touches the circle at a certain point. You also have, for circles, you have an inscribed angle. So angle ACB is an inscribed angle. Angle AOB is a central angle. And you have an intercepted arc. What you need to remember between inscribed angles and central angles is this. The intercepted arc is the measure of the central angle, and the inscribed angle is half the measure of the arc. Umuulan ngayon dito sa Los Baños, and the rain sounds weird, so it's probably hailing again dito sa Los Baños. Circle theorems. The measure of a central angle is equal to the measure of the intercepted arc. Di ba pinakita ko siya kanina? Measure of the central angle is equal to the measure of the intercepted arc. You have to remember that. The measure of the inscribed angle is half the measure of the intercepted arc. Di naman, ang hail naman dito is ano lang, kasi laki lang ng munggo tsaka mais. Masaya nga makakita nun eh. So if you have this one, if the inscribed angle, intercepted arc is 2x, the measure of the inscribed angle is x. Teka lang ah. This is the interesting part. The measure of an angle formed by two intersecting chords of a circle is equal to 1/2 the sum of the measure of the intercepted arcs. So ito yung image. So if you have two chords or line segment, secant lines, the measure of angle 1, okay, is 1/2, kasi the measure of angle 1 is equal dito sa kabila, di ba? Pareho naman ang equal yan. So the measure of an angle formed by two intersecting chords of a circle is equal to 1/2 the sum of the measures of the intercepted arcs. The intercepted arcs are AB and DE. So pag binigay sa inyo yung dalawang measure na to, you have to add it because the measure of the intercepted arcs won't be the same. Okay? The angle, kasi wala siya sa gitna, the angle will be half of this the sum of these two, or the average of the two. Okay? All right? So let's proceed. Other parts of the circle theorems are, papansin nyo ha, I'm keeping this in. If you want to press, tawag dito, print screen, kasi save nyo, save these slides. Parang yung pinipicturan itong slide ko ngayon. Kasi these are some formulas that you need to know. Measure of angles formed at formed in the exterior of a circle are the following. Measure of angle 1, dito, is 1/2 of MJK minus MLM. Okay? So kung meron kang intersection dito, JK minus LM, half of that is measure of angle 1. But, sa susunod, measure of angle 2 is the same. This is actually one single rule, kung mapapansin nyo. Okay? And even the third one. This is a single rule. Kapag meron kang dalawang line, secant line or tangent line, the measure of JK minus the measure of LM is equal to twice the measure of 1. Ganon din dito. The measure of SR minus the measure of QR is twice of angle 2. And the measure of BJH, kaya lang may point na J dito, BJH minus the measure of angle arc BH is also twice the measure of angle 3. Okay? So, screenshot itong slide na to, but this is actually just one rule na sinasabi na nag-a-apply for 3 different types. So, this is secant, tama kayo? Secant tangent and tangent tangent. But if you look at it carefully, it's just one rule. You can disregard the other two and just follow rule letter A. Pare-pareho lang siya na sinusunod. Okay? So, screenshot this slide. I'll go back to the previous slide just for you to screenshot it. This one, screenshot ko rin siya. Okay? 10 seconds lang to screenshot so I can proceed with the next lecture on circles. All right. Okay. So I'll proceed. I'm sure you screenshot this one. And then finally, this is the last one. Intersecting chords, tangents, and secants. Chords of the same circle that intersect are this one. So if you have a same circle and they intersect, QB times BR is equal to SB times BT. Chord, yes. Okay, so you have two chords. The measure of those two, QB times BR, is equal to SB times BT. Bakit sila ginawang ganito? It's the principle of their multipliers. Second segments naman share an endpoint and not in the circle. For example, so meron ka ngayon secant, dalawang secant lines, and meron ka endpoint. But the principle would also be the same. DE times ME is equal to FE times NE. Anong difference niya? Kung mapapansin nyo dito, the formula is very similar. This one, you have an intersection point in the middle. Okay? This one, the intersection point is outside. When that happens, kaya mo ba imagine, i-drag mo tong E papaloob ng papaloob until eventually it goes inside? Bakit ko sinasabi ito? I am a person who easily forgets formulas. Okay? For those of you who can remember formulas and where it's assigned, good. I don't need to teach you another technique. But I'm also sure that there are a lot of you who is like me who easily forgets formulas. So what I do is I try to remember as few formulas as possible. And then I look at how similar they are. I see these formulas as very similar formulas, whether the intersection point is inside the circle or outside the circle. It's just that from point outside to the intersection is equal, multiplied by the point outside to the intersection is equal to the point on the circle to the intersection times the point from the circle to the intersection. Ganon din to. Point to the intersection multiplied by point on the circle to the intersection, point F up to the intersection times point N to the intersection. If you remember even just one, you can remember it both. Okay? And the last one, intersecting chords, tangents, and secants. A secant segment in a tangent line segment of that circle share an endpoint not in the circle. For example, this one. Again, this is still similar to the previous slide. Diba? QR times KR is equal to SR squared. Nakuha nyo kung ano yung technique na ginawa ko? Because I'm very poor at memorizing formulas, I only memorize one. And it's actually applicable. Balik ako dito. Memorizing this single formula is applicable anytime there is an intersection. Also applicable to this. All right? Naiintindihan nyo? Meron ba kayong questions tungkol doon? Okay. So again, for those of you who are good at memorizing formulas, my technique is, you don't need the technique I have. But for those of you who are a bit poor in memorizing formula, just like I was, I memorize just one formula and apply it as much as possible. So now, let's look at this one. In a given figure, the diameter AB is perpendicular to chord CD at point E. If AO is equal to 10 and CD is equal to 12, what is the length of OE? So AO is equal to 10, CE is equal to 12. What is the length of OE? Raisa, maganda, medyo well, for some, my explanation was simple, but I believe it might have become complicated for you. Send us a comment mamaya sa geometry para masagot ko yan. Okay? How do you solve this one? What you need to find out is the length of AE to find OE, diba? So using the formula of secant, okay, CE is 6. OC is also the radius of the circle. So meron kang 10 and 6. How do you find this one? You simply use the, Pythagorean theorem for number 17. The answer is OE is equal to 8. Okay? Is there another way to solve this? Yes, there is. Is this the easiest way to solve this? Yes, this is the easiest way to solve this. Ito yung nakakatawa sa circle. Madalas lang, nakita po itong radius na to. More often than not, when this is given to you, they won't show this. They would show the radius as a straight line. Okay? Always remember, if it's a circle, yes, you can use the Chord theorem as an alternate solution. But it's going to be a bit more difficult. Kasi kailangan mo ngayong i-compute yung factors niya. Magkakaroon ka ngayon dito ng value of x, which you don't know. Okay? Babalik ako dito. Actually, the first time you look at it, naglag na ba ulit? Hindi pa naman. The first time you look at it, akala niyo siya mukha siyang chord, di ba? So it was actually misleading. It came from discussion of chord and chord. So it looked like intersecting chords, but it's not. Okay? Tuloy-tuloy pa naman ako. Naglag lang ng kapiraso, but I wasn't really kicked out. And by the way, baka nakalimutan nyo to? Okay. So, number 18. In the given figure, PQR and TSR are seconds. Ito na yung principle na pinakita ko niyo, secant line. If measure of arc PT is 80 degrees and the measure of arc QS is 30 degrees, what is the measure of angle R? Okay? This is simple, di ba? You simply subtract PT minus QR divided by 2 and you get R. Bigger minus smaller over 2. Yes. So bigger minus smaller over 2, you get 25 degrees. Letter D. Simple ito. Paano isi-send? Ginagawa na ni Sir Ian kung paano. Alright. Next, number 19. I have to apologize. I usually don't look at the correct answer. I usually don't state it, kung napapansin nyo. Once I state what the correct answer is, I rarely say what letter it belongs to. Okay, number 19. In the given figure, secant AB secant AB intersects circle O at D. Okay? Second, AOC intersects circle O at E. And AE is equal to 8, AB is equal to 16, and DB is equal to 6. What is the length of OC? Basically, ang tinatanong dito is what is the length, what is the radius of the circle? Okay, tama yung solution, whole segment X. Okay, so how do you solve this one? AE raw is 8, AB is 16, and DB is 6. What is the length of OC? You use what principle? Multipliers. Okay? AB times AD is equal to AC times AE. Once you get the answer of AC and AE, you will have EC is equal to 12. But is that the final answer? Hindi pa, di ba? You'll get the value of EC. But EC is not the final answer. Ang hinahanap sa'yo is OC. So the correct answer is OC is 1/2 of EC, or 1/2 of the diameter, and you get 6. That is letter B. Tama. Kuha ba to? Wala nang question dito for circles? Because after circles, we'll now go to solid objects. Solid geometry, volume, and surface area. This is my favorite part of geometry. Kasi napakadaling tandaan. And this is actually your question, di ba? Cubes. What is the surface area and volume of a cube? Ito. The following slides, you can screen capture, but at the same time, you could also search for common shapes. Usually may table na. And in fact, I'm going to admit this, some of these pictures, kinuha lang namin sa Google. Okay? Kasi it's really very simple. So the volume is S cubed. Ganun kasimple. Surface area is 6S squared. Okay? Regular prism, ganun din. Length times width times height. That's the volume. And the surface area is twice times length width plus LH plus WH. Okay? Cylinders, screenshot nyo na. Para sa ano tayo? Next. Cylinders naman is like prism din siya. You have height and radius. You simply multiply the area sa baba multiplied by height. So the area baba is pi r squared times h. And surface area is 2 pi r h. Meron kasing pi r squared times 2. Tapos 2 pi r h, ito naman yung nagsusurround sa kanya. Cone. This is something you really need to memorize, but cone is, volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. Here's the thing. If you have cones or any hindi siya conic talaga. If you have any shape at the bottom and it shrinks to a single point, the volume is simply the area of the bottom multiplied by height times 1/3. Okay? So kung makikita nyo sa cylinder, the area of the bottom multiplied by the height kasi hindi nagbabago yung kanyang shape. Okay? But for objects na kung kuwari, you have a circle at the bottom, it increases to a point. It's 1/3 area of the base times height. Okay? So whatever the shape you have at the bottom, you only need to get that area, multiply it by 1/3 and by height. So 1/3 BH is correct. Okay? Surface area is a bit complex. You really have, you either memorize this or you compute for it. Area at the bottom, pi rs would be for a cone. Screenshot. I know you're going to screenshot this one. All right, I think that's enough. Yung mga nag-screenshot sa phone, madali lang. Yung iba naman, pinipicturean yung computers nila, that would also work. Okay? Sphere. This is probably the only one you need to memorize kasi dahil lalabas to. 4/3 pi r cubed is the volume. Surface area is 4 pi r squared. Okay. Sorry. Take a screenshot of that or you take notes. Okay. Let's proceed to question number 20. Question number 20. Two prisms have equal heights and equal volumes. The base of one is a pentagon and the base of the other is a square. If the area of the pentagonal base is 36 square meters, how many centimeters are in the length of each side of the square base? Okay? Mapansin nyo dito ha, equal daw ang height niya, equal ang volume. Anong naaalala nyo about cylinders? Balik ako dito sa cylinders para pakita ko lang. In the cylinders, the volume is simply the area at the bottom multiplied by the height. Diba? So, ang problem natin is that the base of one is a pentagon and the base of the other is a square. Equal daw ang height nila, equal ang volume. So what do you just really need to know? You first find the area of the pentagon is 36. How many centimeters is the length? So kailangan mo lang na pareho siya ng area sa ilalim. Di ba? So the problem looks complex, but in reality, ang tinatanong nandito is, if you have a square of area 36, what is the length of the side? So volume ng prism is equal to volume ng prism. You get 36h is equal to s squared h. Diba? 36 is equal to s squared, which is the area of the base, times squared, you get, yes, same height sila. Naka-state naman dito. Equal height, equal volume. So, 36. The answer is S is equal to 6. Sinabi lang dito na meron kang area sa baba. So, they have the same area and one is a square. If the area is 36 and you have a square, what is the side of the square? Number 21. If the surface area of a sphere is represented by 144 pi, what is the volume in terms of pi? Ano nga if the surface, what is the volume in terms of pi? You need to solve for, pabalik sa rectangular prism, you need to solve for the value of r. If you have a sphere, you have 144i, it's 4 over 3 pi r cubed, di ba? What is the volume in terms of pi? Surface area is 4 pi r squared. So, makukompute mo na ngayon dito ang r. So, surface area, 4 pi r squared. You have 144 pi is equal to 4 pi. Cancel pi, cancel 4, you get, mas magulo pa nga to, square root of 36. 144 over 4 is 36. Square root of 36 equals 6. You get your r. Diba? Now, babalik ako after lang dito. After your, yes, it's recorded. So you can actually view the recording. Siguro by this evening, mabibigay ko na yung recording. So r is equal to 6. You will get, the volume is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. You get 288 pi. Okay? The answer here is letter D. Number 22. Okay. Dito na ngayon tayo sa right triangle. Now, the right triangle trigonometry part, this part of geometry, huwag kayo masyado mag-focus. Sasabihin ko sa inyo, do not focus on these parts. We're teaching you this because it might appear. However, it's also unlikely. You only have 60 items in mathematics. Karamihan sa mga questions na yon is in algebra. Okay? So, in a right triangle, once you have an angle, you're always given an angle and you're given a right angle. The opposite and adjacent, opposite side is opposite the angle you're given. The adjacent side is the side that is adjacent or katabi ng angle, and you have the hypotenuse. Okay? You have to remember this one because this is the formula. The sine of the angle is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosecant is hypotenuse Ba't nga cosecant kagad siya? Hypotenuse over opposite. Okay? Ang reverse ang sign is cosecant. You have the cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. So yung nakakaalam ng statement na SOHCAHTOA, that's it. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA is tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay? Now, yung mga stem, napakadali yan. SOHCAHTOA, sobrang simple nito. But, you also have to remember na merong mga hums dito, merong mga ABM dito. And it's not really taught. And it's actually an advantage. Paano ko sinasabi advantage? UP knows this. Okay? Because UP knows this, ang mga itatanong lang sa inyo could be as extreme as SOHCAHTOA lang. Once you remember SOHCAHTOA, madali na ang right angle trigonometry. When you do go into UP, eventually mas magiging komplikado siya. But for the UPCAT, SOHCAHTOA is more than enough. Ito pa yung tangent at cotangent. Okay? Okay, in the given figure, the isosceles triangle has legs of 16 and a base angles that measure 48 degrees. Which of the following equations represent the height h of the triangle? SOHCAHTOA. Okay? Meron kang h, meron kang angle, meron kang hypotenuse. What is h? H is actually your opposite. Di ba? So, ano yung formula gagamitin mo? Sine 48 is opposite over hypotenuse. The correct answer is letter C. Okay? Teka, ano ba yung tinatanong nyo? So, number 22, we are at number 22. Bakit tangent? No. Hindi siya tangent. It's actually, you have H. This is your right triangle. This is your angle. So, opposite over hypotenuse, SOH, answer is letter C. Okay? Number 23. Ito ngayon. Aside from SOHCAHTOA, you also need to remember the sine and the cosine of a few special angles. And what are those special angles? Sino makakapagsabi sa akin ng mga special angles na kailangan nyo tandaan ang sine at cosine? Ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan is 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. Okay? $30, 60, 90. 30, 45, 60. 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. If you remember those, mas madali na siya. How does it work? Okay? So meron kang, on this exact value, you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay? In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, sine 30 is equal to 1/2, cosine 30 is equal to square root of 3 over 2. So, cosine squared, itong formula na to, cosine 30 squared minus sine 30 squared, is simply arithmetic. What you need to remember is these values. Okay? So how does it work? I forgot to put in a slide here. Saglit lang ha. I need to type something, so please, wag muna kayo mag-type. Hindi, okay lang pala. Sine 0 is equal to 0 over 2. Okay. So nakikita nyo nakasulat dito, except yung second entry ko. Sine 0 is equal to 0 over 2. Sine 30 is equal to 1 over 2. Sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Sine 60 is square root of 3 over 2. And sine 90 is equal to 1. Okay? Here is the mnemonic for this. Every value is actually the square root of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. Kuha nyo? Sine 0 is square root of 0 over 2. Sine 30 is square root of 1 over 2. Sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Sine 60 is square root of 3 over 2. And sine 90 is square root of 4 over 2. If you only, sabi ko nga, you only need to remember one of them. Madali mo na siyang maalala. Okay? So that's the formula you need to remember. So sine 0 is 0. Sine 30 is 1/2. And you'll be able to recall all of it. Yung iba may mga nag-hand trick, nag-unit circle. Yes, it is whatever works. But here is the only thing you need to remember. Sine 0 is 0. And I guarantee, maaalala mo na yung iba. Okay? Yeah, it's never you memorize. There are different styles. So for those of you who are good at remembering formula and remembering the numbers, then good. But again, if you can't remember all of it, you just need to remember one. Sine 0 is 0. If you remember sine 0 is 0, okay na sa lahat yan. Makukuha mo na yung mga sagot. Okay? Number 24. Which type of triangle can be drawn using the points -2, 3, -2, 7, 4, -5? How do you do this? You have to draw. Ito yung mga questions sa akin. Sir, meron ba tayong Cartesian plane sa UPCAT? You have to draw it. This is something you can draw. This is something you can compute. But my suggestion, ito nga. So formula, using distance formula, you can solve for it. You get the distances, nakita nyo na dalawang equal sides, and the answer here is isosceles. My personal style for this, draw it as accurate as possible, and pwede na. In our board exam, for example, we had a question about angles, and sinabi dito, use this formula to get the angle of ganito. What I did then was I simply wrote, I drew it as accurate as possible, used a protractor to measure the angle, and look at the choices na may sagot sa protractor. So in geometry, if you can draw it as accurate as possible, you won't need to compute. So yung mga iba sa inyo, nag-draw, nakuha na, di ba? Yung ibang magagaling, kayang i-imagine yan, kayang tama sagot. I wouldn't be able to do that. I need to draw it. But once I draw it, I can actually get the correct answer. Okay? So distance formula would be possible to get the correct answer. You have two distances that are the same, and meron kang mas I think this is a bit longer. Therefore, this is an isosceles triangle. Okay? Pabalik sa number 23. Sige, I'll just show it back para lang maipakita ko. But please screenshot it para makapag-proceed forward na ako. Okay? Magbaon ng protractor sa UPCAT. You won't be allowed to. But, you know, madali namang matansya pag tinitingnan nyo if you draw it as accurately as possible. In the board exam kasi po pwedeng mag-protractor. Pwede po ba ruler sa UPCAT? I'm not sure. The rules might have changed. In the past, bawal. Okay? So, paano, madali nyo naman tansyahin yun? I would guarantee hindi naman kayo gamit ng mga point-point. It's going to be integer values anyway. Okay? And our final number in geometry, Tuturo ko lang ito. Papaalala ko lang na meron pang number na gumagana dito. Equations of a circle. This is the H and K formula. H and K means the circle with center at H and K, the radius R, it's equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. This is simply a formula. Okay? So, what is the equation of the circle shown in the given graph? Meron kang point sa center, this is hk, and kailangan mo malaman ang radius niya. So, simple na kagad yan. Meron ka dapat negative 1 and 3. Positive 1 and negative 3, di ba? So, which one is the correct answer? Center is at negative 1 and 3. Okay? A center with center h and k as a radius r of the equation. Ito yung nakakatawa dito, di ba? X plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 25. Therefore, the answer is letter A. But, kung makikita nyo dito, did you really need to solve for r? In this formula, makikita nyo dito sa dulo, 25 lang lahat. Diba? R squared is, sa choices, it's all 25. You didn't really need to solve for r squared. You didn't need to solve for r. You only needed to look at the choices kasi pare-pareho, 25, 25, 25, 25. So, you don't need to solve for r. This is the solution. But you didn't need to solve it. Ang kailangan nyo lang makita is, since siya x minus h, negative 1, kailangan maging positive 1. Positive 3, kailangan minus 3. The answer would be letter A. Okay? Sir Ian,
Sige.
I'm gone.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, sige,
So,
sige. Okay.
Please, teka lang. Sorry. Final reminders. Alam ko nagsasagot kayo. If you still have questions, kasi hindi ko kayang masagot yung mga dumadaan na questions kanina, post your questions at the link ng, di ba may reminder kami that today's geometry. Mag-comment kayo doon. Ibibigay namin sa inyo, sasagutin namin yung mga tanong nyo. Para makita rin ng mga iba na active talaga. So, comment at that site. We'll have a break on Saturday and Sunday. On Monday, our class will be chemistry, and your teacher is our chemistry expert. Kitang-kita niyo siya ngayon. Si Sir Ian na mag-handle ng classes natin on Monday. Okay?
Yan, okay.
So,
sige.
I think kinlose na kasi ni Sir Ian. See you again next week. And then, Sir Ian, it's yours.
Okay, so see you guys next week. Okay, so kita-kita na lang tayo sa next class natin, which is Chem on Monday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Rest well. If you can still open your notes and answer, practice, review, do so. Yeah, that's it for today. Bye.